What is a freelance educator? What is a freelance environmental educator? What does that even mean? Let's find out. Welcome to Talaterra, the podcast about freelance educators working in natural resource fields and environmental education. This is your host, Tania Marien. Today we begin addressing my project and different components of this investigation. So the first component we're going to look at is, what is a freelance educator? For my project, I define a freelance educator as someone who does not receive W-2 income for the work that they do. That is to say that they are not an employee of a nature center, a museum, or some other organization. Freelance educators, like other independent professionals, work one event or one project at a time. Some of these individuals do their independent work outside of their full-time day job, and others work independently on a full-time basis. This investigation was born out of my own experiences as an independent informal educator and from my conversations with other educators at various events, as well as my observations of how independent educators fit into the field of environmental education. Or maybe it's better to say how sometimes they don't fit into the field of environmental education. My objective here with this project is to describe the field of freelance environmental education and to become fluent in this field, and to help make freelance environmental education a more reliable career choice. In order to move forward with such a lofty objective, I feel it's now time for me to articulate some of my observations and to take a position on certain aspects of the field. It is not my intent to be critical. I am taking this time to simply state my observations and to make a few requests. Today I would like to ask academics to not dismiss freelance informal educators and the experience and professionalism they bring to science communication. I would like to ask educators employed by nonprofit organizations to not write off freelance educators as being less professional. I would like to ask the business sector to not assume freelance educators working in natural resource fields are radical or hard-headed environmentalists. I would like to ask organizations looking for community partners to not assume that nature nonprofits are the only sources of information and the only partners worth considering. And lastly, I would like to ask organizations who want freelance educators to bring their skills and talents to their organizations to not be surprised or offended when a freelance professional mentions their fee. If changes in all these areas could be made, I feel this would benefit the field of environmental education as a whole and would benefit communications with the independent educators. I assert that freelance educators working in natural resource fields and environmental education are uniquely positioned to create change in their communities. To investigate this assertion and to learn more about who these independent professionals are and what they do, I need your help. If you are an independent professional working in these fields, please consider completing the survey created for this project. I created this survey so that I could begin to define and describe the field of freelance environmental education. You can find a link to this survey in the show notes for this episode. If you've already completed the survey, please consider sharing this podcast episode with colleagues so that they can learn about the project too. If you are considering the survey, please know that your responses are confidential and anonymous, and that your anonymous replies will be grouped with other anonymous replies. If you are a freelance educator and would like to share what you do with listeners of this podcast, please reach out and introduce yourself by completing the contact form at talaterra.com. I would love to hear from you and learn about your work. And if you have questions about the podcast, the survey, or the project overall, please use this same contact form, and I will respond in a timely manner. Thank you so much for your time and attention today. See you next week.